At the end of the Gospel of Matthew, we see Jesus commissioning his disciples to go and make more disciples. Really, this is who we are. This is everything about what we're trying to do. Our vision statement is to be on mission for Christ's kingdom, meaning we want to see Jesus' kingdom expand. And we are a part of that. We are disciples of Jesus, growing in our relationship with him, but also seeking to disciple one another and disciple more and more people. We are disciples that make disciples. And so when we encourage you to participate in a discipleship group, we're encouraging you to be a part of the life, the ministry, the work of what Jesus has already begun to do in you and will continue to do through you. Discipleship groups are groups of 3 to 4 people of the same gender who are getting together to set their hearts and minds on Jesus. It's groups that meet together to pray, engage in God's word, and hold each other accountable. Part of discipleship groups is we want to see life-on-life relationships. And so to encourage that, we ask that you meet at least twice a month. There are some groups that meet every single week. That's not required, but we do ask that you would meet 2 times a month for 90 minutes. When you get together with your discipleship group, you're going to alternate between 2 things. The first time you get together, we encourage you to start in a gospel, but really we want you to pick a book of the Bible and begin going through that. And so we ask that as you start with your group, pick one of the 4 gospels and then commit to every time you get together that first time, do what we call text theology life. This is looking at the context of the passage. What is it being? What's happening in the passage? What's being said? What do we need to know? Theology. What does it say about the character of God? How does it push us forward to understand who Jesus is? And then life. How is this applicable to me? What is God asking me to do, or what is God inviting me to become based on this passage? This will be a discussion that you have the first time you meet. The next time you meet during the month, we encourage you to go through the spiritual disciplines. In the discipleship group guide, you're going to see 9 different disciplines that walk through really the different ways, the practices that we have as believers to walk in the way of Jesus. And so we encourage you to read through those definitions of what the discipline is and then use those discussion questions to kind of prod and work into how am I participating in the way of Jesus? How am I participating in this discipline? The idea is that each month you'll go through one of the disciplines. So after 9 months, you'll have gone through all 9 disciplines. At that point, we would invite you to then start over again. In just a moment, I'll talk about a rule of life and how we want you to implement the disciplines in your day-to-day life. But really, this is not something that we graduate from and move on. This is something that we're going to constantly be seeing Jesus taking us to newer and deeper places in things like prayer, fasting, community, service. And so we invite you to continue to explore these things over and over with your discipleship group. A rule of life is an invitation to live in a particular way with the help of the Spirit. A rule of life is an ancient Christian practice. Really, maybe you do this every year when you set up your New Year's resolution. You might think of what's my ideal year look like, what's my ideal month or day look like. And a rule of life is similar to that. A rule of life is taking the disciplines that you're going to be working through with your discipleship group and then saying, okay, if I were to set up my ideal day, what does it look like when I get up in the morning? Do I spend some time in silence before the Lord? And then do I open God's Word and engage with Him? What does my ideal week look like? Am I participating in community groups or connecting with my discipleship group? Am I serving? Am I spending time monthly fasting? It's really building a plan for your life. And then we encourage you, after you build that, once you've gone through all 9 disciplines, to share that with your discipleship group and talk about it. In the discipleship group guide, you'll see a step-by-step how-to for building a rule of life. So if you're ready to jump into a discipleship group, as we are rolling them out, we invite you to just grab some folks that you're close to in the church and say, hey, can we start a discipleship group? If that's a little intimidating for you, we completely understand. We invite you to approach the mission men and mission women leaders and tell them that you want to get involved with the group, and they will help you get connected to find some folks to start meeting and engaging with. We realize that while this video is helpful, it's not completely comprehensive. Your best resource is going to be the discipleship group guide. In that, there's an FAQ, frequently asked questions. So if you've got any questions, that's likely going to answer it. But should you have any questions that the guide doesn't answer, feel free to reach out to myself, again, or the mission men and mission women leaders. We'd love to answer any questions you have about getting involved with a discipleship group.